Everybody knows that EA ruled the life simulation genre ever since the release of The Sims 1 back in 2000. All of the 4 games of the franchise were a tremendous success, but The Sims 4 is achieving another level, not critically, but financially. But how could a successful game like The Sims fall down? Now we are starting to see a thing called competition. We have games like Paralives and the recent announcement Life by You being produced. And one of these games is not being produced by a small company. Paradox is a really big company which has some lore with EA. And before I explain how Life by You could take The Sims' place, I'm going to explain the lore between EA and Paradox. Back then, EA used to have one of the most famous games about building cities, which was SimCity, critical acclaimed game, and the majority of Sims players loved to play that game. But in 2013, EA had the excellent idea of making the game multiplayer only. The servers of the game just couldn't handle, and the game completely crashed. You couldn't play the game was unplayable, the loading screens were huge, you had to wait a lot, and when you entered the game was completely laggy. The single player version only came out months after the game was released, so everything was lost already, and Paradox saw the opportunity to release City Skylines, which is, to this day, the most popular city building game of these days. And this week was announced that City Skylines 2 is in production, just like Life by You. As we can tell, The Sims is not on its best moment. We had historical games like The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, and we had the first Sims game who regressed, which was The Sims 4. The Sims 2 was a complete gameplay-wise advance from The Sims 1. The Sims 2 had wants and fears and individual personalities, which made the game unique. And The Sims 3 was a whole new level. Open worlds, color wheels. But because The Sims 4 was rushed in the release, the game lacks a lot of features that were loved in other games like Memories, which are now being introduced by the Growing Together pack, but still you have to pay $40 to have basic live simulation features in your game, which I find it stupid. The full Sims 4 experience is costing over $1,000, which is completely insane. So I think it's a perfect moment to have competition. And I don't think EA is ready to lose The Sims, which is one of the best-selling games of all time. But how could Life by You take The Sims' place? It's easy. A lot of old Simmers are really mad at EA because they took a lot of loved features, and it's a perfect opportunity to make a game with those features and release it to the market, so the old Simmers will love to play it, and the old Simmers will influence the new Simmers to play the game, which at the end of the day will lead into Sims 4 downfall. If you think now we don't have other option than The Sims in the simulation market, if you want to play a simulation game, you only have The Sims 3 and The Sims 4, because The Sims 1 and 2 legally are not available to purchase. So I think it's really nice to have competition, because if we have competition, companies will start to make a better work because they don't want to lose their spot, or they want to grow and get more players. Let's be honest, The Sims 4 is not a very good game. It misses the spark that the other Sims games have, like The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 and The Sims 1. The Sims 4 is a lifeless game where you feel like you're living in a cardboard dream where you are the main character. That's not funny. In The Sims 2, I felt like all the Sims were crazy and had their own stories. In The Sims 3, I felt like I was living in a live city. While in Sims 4, I feel like I'm living in a box. No interactions. If you want to visit your neighbor, you have to pass through a loading screen. If these games come with features like open worlds, traits, wants and fears, in their own way obviously because they're different games, I think that The Sims will wake up and start to make a good game like they did with The Sims 2 and 3. So having competition is not negative, it is just positive. And at the stage that The Sims 4 is right now, having competition is really necessary, because paying $1,000 in a game, it's really not good. And we can see the effects on this competition already. If you look at the Sims 5 preview, which was published by EA in the Sims Summit livestream, you can see that the game has a lot of features that Paralives announced before they started developing the Sims 5. So you can see that EA is starting to open their eyes and make a better game. The Sims 4 has improved a lot, but it still has a lot to improve, and I don't think it's going to improve until the release of The Sims 5. I think that they will just ignore it like they did with The Sims 3 when it completely broke down with Island Paradise. And this is my opinion on Life by You. By the preview, I think it's going to be a good game. But will it take The Sims' place? I hope from the bottom of my heart that EA wakes up and give us a good game. So that's it for the video. If you want a video explaining what happened to Project Olympus, I will consider do it. So leave a like, subscribe my channel, and goodbye.